All right. I mean, of course, it's a team that in a group that hates losing, so there's a lot of frustration in the results, and kind of once again, just feels like there was kind of that little stretch where they got a little cushion from us, and we just weren't able to come back. But there was a lot of fight and compete, so we just got to kind of dust ourselves off and get back at it Monday and ready to go for next weekend.
You talked about it a little bit after the Southern Miss game about not letting that first loss to San Francisco creep into the next one. How much do you feel like San Jose State's loss crept into today?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it. I don't think we can point at that and say that there was some type of hangover from that game. I thought, we got off to a great start, so I don't think it stuck around too long. Yeah, again, this is a group of guys that doesn't like losing. I mean, from staff to players to people involved. So. Yeah, there was a understandable kind of pit in our stomach, I think, just by the way that we did what we did in San Jose, and then to only finish up on the wrong end of it. But at the same time, again, came out and got off to a pretty good start. So guys, we did what we needed to do there in the first 8 minutes to put ourselves in a good position to keep going. We just had that little stretch again, and that's something that we'll just continue to talk about and work on and try to get better.
It seemed like that early start was kind of fueled by some good rebounding, defensive rebounding. But after that, San Diego State kind of had their way on the offensive boards. Just what changed, I guess, after those first 8 minutes?
Yeah, we'll have to look at it. Anything else would be a knee-jerk response.
Keyshawn Gilbert didn't play down the stretch. What was going on there with him?
I think he was just frustrated and we just. I don't think I understand. What do you mean? What was going on?
Was he benched for a performance, or why didn't you play him down the stretch?
I think benched is kind of a harsh word for somebody who's been so good for us. But no, I thought Jordan did a good job when he was out there. I just thought Keyshawn was maybe pressing a little bit, and we were kind of in a situation where we had guys with fouls, guys that had played a lot. So we still kind of had that group of guards rotating in a pretty somewhat similar manner, just maybe not at the end like we have up to this point. And but again, we're still kind of figuring things out a little bit. We're still kind of playing off each other and kind of seeing what we can do better and what we're doing best.
Luis Rodriguez, put up a monster game tonight, and I'm sure his players fed off that energy. But how do you get the other guys to keep up with his physicality, his energy?
Yeah, I think if you go back and watch the first game against Southern, you're going to see Luis is always praised for how hard he plays. So if there's been any consistency in Luis, it's been without a question how hard he plays. And he hit some big shots, especially there late to kind of keep it interesting. And the guys kept fighting. Very easily when we started fouling with 2 minutes left, could have gone the other direction really quick. But guys fought there for stretches, but he did a much better job tonight. He was one of the more vocal ones in San Jose about, even though he had a handful of rebounds, he felt he could have gotten in there and muddied the water a little bit and gotten his hands a little dirtier. And I thought tonight he did a really good job of throwing his body around in there. And again, the first 8 minutes, I'm not sure we gave up an offensive rebound. So we did a much better job of setting the tone in that regard.
More of what they did defensively in the second half, or you offensively?
Oh, no, I think anytime, you finish a game like this with San Diego State, you're probably going to pat them on the back pretty good. Elite defensively. They've been elite for as long as I can remember. And I think what they do is they're just so in sync. They're so solid. They don't make mistakes in terms of, they're very just consistent. And like we talked about with the guys, the plan is it's a simple plan, but it's not easy. And when you talk about San Diego State defensively trying to score on them, especially in the half court, it's tough. It is really tough. I just thought they did a good job of, again, they always seem to stick to their guns. They're just so solid and so consistent. And like we talked about earlier this week, they cover for each other, and they kind of fight and scrap for each other, kind of working toward the end result. Maybe as for certainly as good as anybody we've played this year, but again this year probably about as good as anyone in the country, certainly anyone I've seen.
Kev, with your top two offensive players struggling tonight, kind of expand on that. Was that more San Diego State or just a couple guys just not shooting the ball well tonight?
I mean, I think, you've always got to, it's really hard to watch a game against San Diego State that you play or anybody plays and say, oh, you don't get a lot of them where it's like, oh, that was a great look, we just missed it. You might get one or two, of course, but when you just talk about the entirety of it, and even as a staff, when we come back after a timeout, there's just things that you remind yourself of, like we can't get too far away. We can't get too pushed out from the three-point line because they just do it without you really recognizing it. Because they're just so solid and so consistent that you find yourself catching it 30 feet. Yeah, and then you got Butler and Trammell doing what they do, being disruptive, and A-Rope and Mensah can guard anybody. So, of course, I mean, anytime you play a game, I think as a player, period, you're going to look back and say that was one I want back. That was one I want back. But when you have to work as hard as you do against San Diego State, it just takes a toll on you, and those shots become harder, and they come with more pressure because they're harder to get consistently.
How did you feel about your perimeter defense tonight? 11 of 21, San Diego from three.
Yeah, I mean, I thought again the second half we clearly did a lot better until we started fouling there at the end. I think they were in their low 20s for a lot of it. So guys adjusted, but yeah, I mean, I thought that again when that cushion came in the first half, when they were able to get that cushion, I thought we just did some things that we're a little more uncharacteristic of us, and they made us pay. But I mean, it's kind of what San Diego State does. When you kind of show a little, give them a little bit of an opportunity, they take advantage. That's why they're a really good team.
The league doesn't really let up. You've got New Mexico next. They're undefeated. You're going on the road. What do you do for the next week to sort of prepare for that game and, the rest of the league beyond that?
Yeah, no, we're going to get back after it Monday. I think we've got to understand that this, like you said, this league, it doesn't let up. There is no game that you just go into and say, guys, if we just play hard, we're fine. Like, there isn't one of those. I think I told you earlier this week, I think the conference is the best it's ever been. For the second year in a row, I think it's even better, top to bottom and more solid than it was even last year. And it doesn't let up. Conference plays tough, but so we gotta get back after it Monday. We can't do a lot of the things right. We have to do as much as we possibly can right, and that's one of the things. We just gotta be a little more locked in, especially if we expect to go beat what I would imagine, I don't think anybody would argue, the most confident team in the country right now.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Luis, how did you feel about the shots you guys were getting throughout this game? Did you feel like they were open looks for the team in general, or what did you think about the way you guys played offensively?
A lot of them were open looks, but we was just playing through offense and trying to do what we do, get out and run. They did a good job of being disruptive. But, for the most part, I think we pretty much stuck to what we do. We wish we missed a couple around the rim that we should have finished. I wish we got them back. But for the most part, I think we did a pretty good job at, just staying true to our offense and stuff, even though they're a very disruptive team. But, it just came down to really defense, I think, more than so offense.
What did you think happened on the defensive end?
Second chance opportunities. I think that's defense because you got to hit somebody, box out. They out-rebounded us by, I think, 11 in the second half. And, just communication stuff. We messed up some switches, led to open buckets. They went on a run where, it was just hard for us to stay within what we do. But it just came down to runs. We put out some fires. They started another run. So it was just, something we just got to learn from, watch the film, and just get better.
Webb, rebounding has kind of been an issue for you guys the last couple of games. What is your responsibility and the guard's responsibility, especially when David or Vic gets drawn out of the paint for a shot block?
It's our responsibility to go and crack down. Especially if they go for a block, whoever's rotating, it's their job to crack the big. And I think we did a pretty good job of that in the first half. In the second half, we kind of got away with it. This game, I didn't really go get any rebounds. It was pretty much my job to just, if I had a big or somebody, just try to keep them out the paint, try to let somebody else go get it. But I know at the end of the day, there were some rebounds that I should have went there and got. And so, you just learn from those and you be prepared for the next game.
Luis, after a 10-0 start for you guys, you dropped 2 straight. What kind of consistency do you want to see from your guys just moving forward?
I think we just need to put our head down and go back to work. We got another week before we play our next game. So I think this week could be big for us in preparation and just getting back to what we do. Getting back to being just that, physical defensive team, grimy, guys just out playing our opponent. And we just got to get back to that. And it's in us. Like, we start 10-0 for no reason. Like, it's in us. So we just got to get back to playing desperate, I feel like. And we playing hard, but I think as a team we could be more connected, and as a team we can even do more to, get back to winning and, just doing whatever it takes to win, for real. Yeah.
Luis, last couple games for Keyshawn have been sort of a struggle. What have you seen from him, and is there anything that you or your teammates can do to sort of help him, during this stretch that he's going through?
It's just it's basketball. It's not going to always go your way. So we just got to keep giving him confidence. And we know the type of player he's been for us this year. And he's a great basketball player. And, he put the work in. So, he'll get back on track. But the biggest thing is just not having him get worried or caught up in, anything like that. Just keep being a good player for us and just keep working hard and, it's going to take care of itself. But Keyshawn's going to be fine. He's a hell of a player. He works very hard to prepare for each game. So, basketball is not going to always go your way. And, it's just he got to just keep working and just get back to what he was doing. But no question, the work he puts in, he'll be fine.
Seems like a little bit longer than usual in the locker room after the game before everyone came out here to talk to us. What was said in there and what was the atmosphere afterwards in the locker room?
It's never happy after a loss. But it's just the biggest thing for us is just to stay connected. It's a lot of basketball left to be played. And, obviously we want to win every game. We prepare to win every game. But we just have to, stay together through anything, through what the media might say about us. We know who we are. We know the work we put in. So we didn't get it done tonight. But with this sport, you got to really have a short memory because the games are going to keep coming, and we can't feel sorry for ourselves. We just have to put our head down and work harder and do what we got to do to win. So just the guys just keeping each other leveled, and we just glued to each other and just staying connected, I think, is the biggest thing in the locker room we talked about. So.
When we were speaking with Coach, one of the big key words that we discussed with him a few times was frustration. When you guys were taking all those fouls within the late minute for the second half, would you say that's more of like frustration, like out of anger, or is it like making like all these good attempts to try and make something when the seconds are running down?
Definitely, we were trying to have two of their Mensa and A-Rope. We was trying to have them foul them and have them make free throws down the stretch to try to, give us a chance, see if we can come down, make some shots. But, they did a good job of beating the press and getting it to the guys that make free throws. So credit to them. But, it should have never got to that way. But, we learned from it. We'll be prepared next time.
They played a lot of screen roll lift that they haven't done all year. And it was pretty effective in the first half. Did that catch you by surprise? And what did you do in the second half to adjust to that?
I think we do a good job preparing for whatever, the offense is going to throw at us. We cover pretty much everything in practice. So I think we're prepared for anything. It just came down to our communication, so like something we got to watch the film and get better at. But I think we was prepared. It just didn't go how we wanted to go. We just, like I said, messed up a couple switches, couple guys that make shots got open. And it's something that we just need to lock in and grow from. But, yeah, pretty much it.
Seems like you guys kind of blew through the conference schedule. Once you got to conference play, has there been a big change in intensity level?
Yeah, you know, it's a long conference schedule ahead of us. It's a lot more games to be played. We're not off to the start we want to be off to, but we don't want to get discouraged because we know the team we are and the group of guys we got and how resilient we are as a team. So I'm sure we'll turn this thing right back around with obviously a week of hard work ahead. But, you know, it's a long conference schedule. We got, you know, we're, second game in? We got like 16 more of them, I believe. So now I'd rather have the adversity hit us now than, you know, late in March or whatever the case may be. So I think no doubt we'll be fine. We just got to put our head down and go back to work.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Happy New Year, everybody.